Hey, good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. It's Wednesday, or evening, I should say. It's Wednesday, February 22nd. We're coming up on the end of the month. I just finished a workout. I have just a few minutes here. I wanted to give a quick shout out to y'all. Jumping on a business call in a few minutes. But, I just got back from the gym. Jason and I got a workout in and everything. And, one of the things that I notice when I'm at the gym is, there's a lot of chatter going on, which is very cool. That's a great place to socialize or whatever, if that's your thing. For me, I like putting on the music, getting the weight belt on, getting my wrist wraps on and whatever, if I've got things to support my knees or elbows for whatever workout I'm doing, I'll get that on. So it's kind of like I'm going to battle, and it's something that that's embedded in me from playing athletics in college in particular. When you walk in between the lines of any sporting event, on the basketball court, between the lines on a baseball field or in the football field or in the classroom, in a debate team, doing a concert, whatever it is that you're doing to prepare for competition or to entertain or whatever the case might be, you want to make sure that when you suit up and show up that you're not presenting yourself in what I call a half-baked way, right? And not in the manner in which you might think, but, you don't have your hat on, you don't have your gear on, your uniform's not buttoned up, your shirt's not tucked in, your cleats aren't tied up, the belt isn't cinched up. All that stuff has to take place, because if you walk across the lines, or in my case, when I walked into the gym today, and I got ready, as soon as I walk into the room where all the iron is, I'm ready to go. It's go time. The music's on. And, I'm not there necessarily for social hour. There are people that I know that I really like and I'll speak to, and we'll exchange pleasantries. But, some people that don't know me might look at that and it might come across as being curt, rude. Who is this guy? He just keeps to himself. He's really intense, but the reality is, for me, the gym is a place to go in and get my workout in, get my body in good shape, work on certain muscle groups and try to make sure everything's in proportion, and to do that, you got to stay focused, and it's hard to break the routine, the monotony of a particular exercise, have a conversation with someone, and then all of a sudden, your pump, if you want to call it, or, the energy level, the heart rate starts to settle down, and then you got to re-kickstart it and everything and get back into the zone. It's very hard to do that. So I remember a time back in high school, it just takes me back, playing baseball, and we had a home game our senior year, I think it was. Many of you know, back in those days, if you were with me growing up, Decatur High School was a big rival of ours in baseball, and there was a monster game that we played at home against them. We ended up blowing them out of the water. It was like 12-1, but the score was not indicative of just how good that team was that we played and how big of a rivalry we had with them. But I remember we went out there and we were stretching. It was a home field. Their bus rolled up, and the players started coming off the bus and into the dugout to put their stuff away and began their stretching routine and calisthenics to prepare for the game. And I remember James Workman and I were the captains, so we're kind of leading the stretching exercises. I remember looking over past James, and I watched these guys coming off the bus, and some of them had their hats on backwards or sideways. Their shirts weren't tucked in. Many of them had their, they didn't even have their jerseys on. They had their undershirts on. They were walking in flip-flops. I knew the minute they came off the bus, I knew the minute I saw them, we had them. They did not come prepared to play. They did not come prepared to play. They came in overconfident, and they strolled in. They had a right to be cocky because they were good, right? But they didn't have a right to not be prepared, and it cost them dearly. And I think that today, if you were talking to any of them, they'd probably tell you the same thing. We didn't come prepared. We got our hats handed to us, but we showed up, buttoned up, suited up, ready to go. And so my question to you today is, where does that apply in your life? When you show up for business meetings, or you're showing up for school on time, classroom, maybe you're going to a class or a test that you don't necessarily excel in, and it's not your favorite. Could it be because you're showing up, not completely prepared? You're strolling in a few minutes late. You're not really you don't got your head in the game. So think about that, and maybe that'll help you guys kind of turn the corner, whether it's in your professional life, in sports and athletics, debate team, gymnastics, cheer, soccer, football, lacrosse, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be sports. It could be anything. When you show up, be suited up, ready to go, locked and loaded. And an old mentor of mine told me once, it's not enough to be 5 minutes early for a meeting, because if you're 5 minutes early, you may as well be 10 minutes late. That's something that holds the weight in a lot of activities worldwide with all of us and everything we do. You can't necessarily be prepared for a meeting if you show up just 5 minutes early, right? I had a football coach in high school who used to lock the door to the room that we had a team meeting in before we'd go out onto the field and practice. And he locked it at 5 minutes to the hour. So if the meeting was at 3 o'clock, at 2:55, the door was locked. So if you come strolling in at 2:55, you couldn't get in, even though you were 5 minutes early. In his mind, you may as well be 10 minutes late, right? So have fun with that. Think about where you can apply that in your life. When you go to work tomorrow, make sure you got your makeup on. You're not doing it in the car on the way to work, you know. Girls, you know that drill. Guys, you know, when you show up for a meeting or, you know, a practice or whatever the case might be, make sure your tie's buttoned up. Or if you're wearing a jacket, you know, you got your shirts buttoned up. You got your hair groomed. Everybody looks good, right, ready to rock and roll. Your notes are in place, and you're not coming in half-baked, right, and unprepared. So be brave, be strong, go get what's yours, and have a great evening.